doors or cordless window blinds. Everything stays closed with Monkey Magnets. The secret is the ultra-strong industrial magnet that's powerful attraction keeps your doors and drawers securely shut. These magnets are so strong they can hold this hammer that's nearly 5 pounds. Plus, they're super thin. They'll fit just about anywhere, and they stay out of sight. Even screw them in for a more permanent solution. Monkey Magnets are perfect for cabinets, dresser drawers, sliding closet doors, accordion doors, and more. They're made of ultra-durable metal, so even your outdoor problems are solved in an instant because they're corrosion and rust resistant. Use them anywhere outside the house, even on that stubborn mailbox that won't stay shut. Monkey Magnets can stick anywhere, from drywall to all types of wood frames, metal surfaces, and more. Call or go online now to get 8 sets of Monkey Magnets for only $9.99. Monkey Magnets are guaranteed to last 10 years or your money back. But wait, due to rising costs and supply chain shortages, this may be your last chance to get Monkey Magnets at this low price. There is a strict limit of 1 full house pack per order while supplies last. So order now to keep all your doors and drawers shut tight with Monkey Magnets.
Call 1-800-519-4810. That's 1-800-519-4810. Call or visit getmonkeymagnets.com. So call 1-800-519-4810. Order now.
What do you do when your tire goes flat and there's no air anywhere? You reach for Bullseye Pro, the smarter, faster, hands-free way to fill it up with air. Bullseye Pro is equipped with a rechargeable power plant, smart pressure sensor, and custom nozzles. It's like the power of an air compressor in the palm of your hand. Get your complete Bullseye Pro inflation system for just $79.99 and get free shipping. Plus, we'll give you a 50% discount on a second one. Order now.
Hello, everybody. You're watching Breaking Point on Real America's Voice News. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining the RAV family. I've got a super show for you today, action-packed. The news cycle is just nuts. You blink and you miss something. I'm just going to try to give you guys some great information today so you can argue with your crazy uncle on Sunday. But happy Mother's Day to everybody, by the way. All the wonderful mothers out there. And you don't need to provide a hearing of due process for anyone that didn't claim political asylum when they crossed the border anyway. So that's part of this, charade that's going on. The Fed didn't lower rates again, but there are 2 or 3 more cuts coming this year. And things are going to get easier for Americans. They really are. Oil prices at $60 a barrel. You know, they said in the beginning of the year, they're going to average $74 a barrel for the year. Well, it looks like they're going to average about $60 a barrel for the next at least few months, 4-6 months, maybe something like that. You're going to see prices come down at the pump. Hopefully diesel come down. Even trucking industry experts can't explain why diesel never seems to come down. 70% of your products in America are moved by truck. These least favorable Trump polls are being pushed by the media, but they're dishonest, and they were dishonest in the election polling as well. You got to know how to read between the lines with these things here. But I wanted to say that gasoline futures are down to $2 a gallon, which is pretty low. I think they were at $1.99 or $1.97 the other day. Home heating oil in the Northeast in New York has already come down. Trump's big on nuclear. We've got 624 million acres of exploration opened up in both coasts in the water looking for oil. We've got a lot of progress going on. Our energy policy is just extraordinary. We'll get into that another time, though. And I just wanted to bring on our first guest today. I'm very excited to have with us Julian Assiard, because there's all these races heating up across the country for Senate, for the House, for gubernatorial races, New Hampshire, Georgia, Kentucky. Julian Assiard is with us. Hi, Julian.
How's it going? Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It's great to have you. You're a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. You participate in Operation in the OIF, Iraqi Freedom. You're the author of United We Stand, A Marine's Fight and you're host of the Blue Collar Intellectual podcast. Is that right?
Yes, and co-host of Granite State Live.
Awesome. Spent a lot of time in New Hampshire for the network for like 6 years. Primaries, watching Trump fill up the Shnu Arena with 20,000 people when the Democrats, all 9 candidates, couldn't even get 9,000 combined on the Democratic side. It was very exciting. A lot of hot races going on. And Senator Shaheen, not running again. Who's going to fill that spot? Is Chris Pappas running?
So Chris Pappas is running for Jeanne Shaheen's seat. He's already declared, and it looks like he might actually get a challenge from some people on the left. There hasn't been an announcement yet, but we are seeing the race for CD1 for Chris Pappas's seat heating up. It looks very much likely like the Republican for that seat is going to be candidate from 2024 cycle, Chris Bright, who ran last time. And for the Senate seat for the Republicans, it looks like it's going to be Scott Brown. There is a possibility of a couple contenders hopping in. Of course, there always is, because this is New Hampshire and we can't all get behind one candidate ever. But for the Democrats, it's looking like Moira Sullivan has already declared for the CD1 seat to replace Pappas on the Democrat side. And it is very likely she's going to be getting a challenge from Stephanie Shaheen, from Jeanne Shaheen's daughter.
Wow, a lot going on. But you got a New Hampshire state legislature that has a few vote majority for the Republicans, but they don't vote that way. They didn't vote for parents' rights, and so what's the chances of getting a Republican senator for a CD1 seat for the Republicans there?
So in the 2024 cycle, we actually were able to chalk up some wins. I think we got about a 224 seat majority in the state house by my last count. And it looks like there's very likely possibility of us winning a special election. We did pick up, I believe, 2 Senate seats and an executive council seat. So the governor Kelly Ayotte is sitting pretty with having the ability to pretty much get most of what she wants done. But of course, never count Republicans out for snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. We can definitely self-sabotage with the best of them. So it looks like going into this cycle, we are going to see there is a likelihood that we can pick up the seat, because now that it is an open seat and it looks like Scott Brown isn't going to have or doesn't have a primary challenger quite yet, I think we can rack up a win. If we all unify behind one candidate, I think we can do it, because then he can focus. We have a very late primary date, which ends up being the problem, is we have our primary in September and then the general election in November, which, 18 months on the campaign trail, lobbying, jabs at each other rhetorically as Republicans, and then trying to go out and beat the Democrats in 2 months. It's just it's untenable. And we know the Democrats typically unify behind a single candidate. So I think there's a possibility we might be able to do it if we all come together and fire in the same direction this time.
All right. So I ate breakfast next to Chris Sununu, who was meeting with the Chris Lick, the head of CNN at the time, because I covered the CNN town hall there at the university. And he wouldn't give me an interview because he knew we were Rav and War Room was beating him up and stuff. And he deserves it, right? He's an anti-Trumper. But he was kind of popular up there. Kelly Ayotte. Is she going to be able to bring a little bit more red to New Hampshire up there?
I think she is. Kelly Ayotte is more conservative than Sununu, especially on social issues like men and women's sports, things like that. I mean, she's already said that that's not going to fly in New Hampshire. The vast majority of the people in the state agree with her. She's willing to, supposedly, she said she's going to sign the parental rights bill. So there are different wins that she pledged before running for office. She said that were issues for us with Sununu as governor that aren't going to be issues with Kelly Ayotte. So by that measure alone, she's already, coming up head and shoulders above Sununu as far as cooperating and working in concert with the Republican caucus in the state house. So I think we actually will be able to get some things done. And I understand that she's not everybody's favorite in the grassroots MAGA sector of the party up here, but I think she is an improvement on Sununu from this point, because Sununu is definitely overtly antagonistic towards the MAGA voters in New Hampshire.
Yeah, and Trump still cleaned everybody's clock up there, which was epic. I wanted to also just cover quickly, I interviewed the director for overdose prevention in Manchester, New Hampshire, a year and a half ago. He told me 8% of the population in Manchester overdoses every year with a toxic cocktail, trying to bring back themselves up from doing meth, and then they go on synthetic morphine and then all the fentanyl. And now the border's closed, pretty much closed, in just 10 weeks. How many lives is Trump saving across the country already from crimes, from illegals, and from the drug trade? New Hampshire's have to be happy about that. You had the highest per capita overdose rate in the United States for years.
Yeah, you know, in New Hampshire, immigration was a big issue, not just because we have the southern border and, you know, Democrats have been instrumental in being able to help ship illegals all over the country. But up here in New Hampshire, we also have the northern border. And throughout the Swansea sector of the northern border, we had a large amount of people who were coming into Vermont and New Hampshire, and they were walking right into the back of people's properties. They were dropping bags of drugs on the side of the road for people to pick up on the side of the road. So it got pretty tumultuous up here, and we definitely are happy to see Trump, taking the bull by the horns with this.
Wow. Okay, we don't have a lot of time left. I'm going to give you about 45 seconds just to talk about Trump building up infrastructure and cutting out the intermediaries in the black vote, like the DNC-controlled preachers. Give me less than a minute.
So the big reason why Trump nailed damn near 20% of the black vote this cycle is because, unlike in past cycles, he didn't allow black intermediaries on the right to speak for him, and didn't allow the black intermediaries on the left to dissuade him from going and talking directly to black voters and talking directly about the issues that they're concerned about, and just offering a solution rather than, the constant vilifying of the black community that is so common in media these days. And he won. And you know what? If he builds up the infrastructure this cycle, he very likely can gain 30% for the party if the party takes lessons learned going into the future.
Great. Tell our viewers where they can follow you on socials and other.
So you can follow me on social on X at JulianACR1, or you can follow me at Julian4NH on Instagram, and Julian ACR on Facebook. You can buy my book on Amazon. And hey, by all means, contact me and send me a copy of the book, and I'll sign it for you.
Awesome, Julian. Thank you. I want to talk more about the minority vote and your perspective. It's really cool. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful Mother's Day with your family.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great. Anytime. Guys, we'll be right back. I got a great show ahead for you. Do not go anywhere. As countries around the world move away from the U.S. dollar, get gold today for 5,000 years. Gold has withstood inflation, geopolitical turmoil, stock market crashes, and the great news is you can still get it. You can own gold and silver in a tax-sheltered retirement account. Birch Gold makes it easy to convert your IRA or 401k into an IRA in precious metals. Just text the word America to 989898 to claim your free info kit on gold. 20 years experience in converting these IRAs and 401ks into precious metal IRAs. Birch Gold can help you today. Protect yourself today. Text the word America to 989898, an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Thousands of happy customers and countless 5-star reviews. Secure your future with gold today. Start today with your free info kit. There's no obligation. Text the word America to 989898 today.
There's nothing worse than losing your dog before their time.
That's why I created Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, designed to help dogs with everything from digestive issues to itching, even moving better.
Nature's Blend works because it's freeze-dried. So instead of destroying the nutrients with high heat, they all get right into your dog's body.
Take it from a veterinarian with over 50 years of experience saving dogs' lives. I have never seen a food make this much impact on a dog's health.
For a limited time, get up to 54% off Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, plus a free gift with our special TV offer. Call or go to drmartypets.com/TV.
The poverty is unimaginable. There are people who are struggling.
This is where she washes the dishes.
If you're ever going to allow your Christian faith to rise and to do something for God's chosen people, now is the time.
This is the home of Galena. She's 96 years old.
This is what she had to eat for today.
She has one pot with water and wheat.
My father was killed by the Nazis, and I was an orphan. I didn't know about God. But now, in the cold, hungry nights, I pray for food to the God I've never known. There are good people that love you.
You see the tears. Scripture says joy can come in the morning, and you can be the reason.
If you will bless these hurting children of Israel, you will receive God's blessing in return. Your urgent gift today of $25 will help rush a survival food box filled with life-saving essentials. If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives. Call, scan, or go online now.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, I don't know how much longer she could have waited for us to come.
I can't even grow my food anymore. What will happen to me? I'm doomed to starve.
Tens of thousands of elderly Holocaust survivors in the former Soviet Union are living in extreme poverty, hungry, and forgotten. But through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, we can bring them hope.
Eggs. It's my favorite food. May you be blessed.
You say to them, we see you and we're here to help.
If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives.
I'm proud to endorse and encourage you to get this Bible.
Now available in 4 stunning editions: the First Lady Edition, Inauguration Edition, Vice Presidential Edition, and Presidential Edition.
This Bible is the King James Version and also includes our Founding Father documents, yes, the Constitution, Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance. God bless you. And God bless the USA.
Scan the QR code on screen now to get your special edition Bible at GodBlessTheUSABible.com.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. You're watching Breaking Point on Real America's Voice News. Did you know that the top 10 lobbyist money recipients from lobbyists in Congress are all Democrats? And that's pretty significant, I thought, and something to pay attention to. I'm also very excited about the school vouchers that were passed in Texas, $1 billion in school choice signed by Abbott, Governor Abbott in Texas. As somebody who paid for 72 years of Catholic school and college for my 4 children, with all private university tuitions, I'm all for competition in our schools. I think it worked in New York City back in the day, when kids in bad neighborhoods were able to get on a train and go wherever they wanted. Technical schools, the Brooklyn Academy of Sciences, really gave people a shot. Let it be competitively based, right? Why should a teacher make $150,000, $200,000 a year like here in New York? If they're not doing the job, and let the schools fight for the children that go there, and let the parents decide. I'm all for it. I want to bring our next guest in here. She's running in the 4th Congressional District in Thomas Massey's district in Kentucky. Nikki Lee Ethington, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dave, for having me.
It's great to have you. I understand you just filed to run for Congress.
That is correct. And it's going to be an uphill battle with people like you helping me get the word out. Maybe we can get some change here that will enforce those America First policies. And if I could just jump into a little introduction of myself, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So I'm a registered nurse, and I've worked right here in this district on the front lines of Kentucky's 4th. I have additional education in criminal justice and homeland security and human services. And David, being out on the front lines, I've seen and heard firsthand the challenges that people have faced across this district. And not only that, I've traveled across the country, filling in shortages and speaking directly with the American people. So I've heard firsthand from our Social Security recipients who have struggled to purchase medications, groceries, being on that fixed income. So these are our most vulnerable populations, and we should be doing right by them by eliminating those taxes on their Social Security checks. This is just one example why I'm all in, demonstrating why I'm all in and advocating for the people of my district. This is what nurses do best, right? We advocate. So, and I also understand securing our border is essential with the drugs that we've had pouring in under the Biden administration, along with the endless flow of illegals and dangerous gang members and the human trafficking that was going on.
Right.
So we've got to continue to support David to keep our borders safe. This means safer communities. And we finally have Donald J. Trump in office, and we've seen the numbers way down at the border. I think it's 97%, 98%, depending on who you ask. This is one of the reasons that I'm running for Congress, to make certain that we keep this track record going and get rid of the obstructionist.
Okay. So I always liked Thomas Massey, that he kind of thinks for himself, and he's was big with the Tea Party. I don't like a lot of things as of late, as maybe the people in the 4th District in Kentucky. 3 things. He votes against Trump's budget, his criticism of the Houthi strikes in Yemen, saying they're not America first. Trump violated the War Powers Act. And then he votes he was a sole vote against stopping the China organ harvesting, like from the Uyghurs and other in there. Is his support fleeting? Because I know Trump is irritated. He endorsed him last time around, but it wasn't really enthusiastic. Do you see Trump endorsing you or somebody else? And what's going on in your district?
So let me just say, President Trump has had enough of Thomas Massey's games. And quite frankly, David, so have I. And I believe a lot of the Kentucky 4 constituents have as well. President Trump has basically called him an automatic no vote and has even compared him to Liz Cheney. So I think that tells you all you need to know about President Trump's opinion on him. As far as him endorsing me, I've not talked with President Trump, but that would absolutely be a wonderful thing if that did happen. If I could just, extend on his voting record a little bit. President Trump isn't unhappy because, one thing, Massey started off 2025 in complete defiance of President Trump's agenda and, quite frankly, the Republican Party. On February the 25th, Massey voted on the budget resolution bill. He was the only no vote on the Republican side. This was the blueprint to advance the tax cuts, the no tax on tips, overtime and Social Security. It also added a little bit of defense spending in there for border security. And on March the 11th, he voted to keep the government. He voted against keeping the government up and running, meaning he voted alongside his Democrat friends to shut the government down. Again, the only no Republican vote. April the 10th, the revised budget resolution bill that came back from the Senate. The final version, this big, beautiful bill that we're hearing, all about, that we like to call. He voted no again on this, David. These are key measures that have significant tax cuts, strict immigration enforcement measures, aiming to increase the deportations and the border security. They had energy policy reforms in there, focusing on deregulations and increased domestic production here in America. So President Trump has a mandate from the American people. Thomas Massey knows President Trump has a mandate from the American people. So this is obstruction at its best.
All right, Nikki. So we don't have a lot of time, so I have so much to cover with you, but I really want to focus on you're a nurse and you listen to the people in your district. You've treated a lot of people. You're very strong with MAGA. You're very strong in MAGA movement, but when nurses generally aren't. But you told me something about nurses that nurses have been telling me. I've had many nurses tell me over the last 2 years, there's been an explosion of blood clots and cancer.
That is correct.
Glioblastomas, astrocytomas since the vaccine. Can you address that?
Well, What I can say, David, is as a nurse, I was directly impacted by the COVID vaccine mandates. We'll start there. I saw countless healthcare workers displaced for standing up to their right to choose. We were held as heroes one day and then cast aside the next. I stood firm and refused to blindly follow the corporate directives that mandated these COVID vaccines. And I saw firsthand how, these mandates pushed skilled workers, dedicated nurses, David, out of the profession and left patients with fewer advocates at their bedside. And like you just spoke, now we're learning more about the risk that some of these individuals have faced, even the myocarditis and the pericarditis. This is inflammation around the heart muscle and the surrounding tissue. These are serious issues. And the blood clots, as you spoke, these aren't conspiracy theories. They're documented cases. But what I want to address, I believe firmly in medical freedom, informed consent, transparency. And I will fight to make sure that America is never forced to choose between their jobs and personal decisions again. David, while there's been efforts made to pass some legislation ending the vaccine mandates for healthcare workers, as far as I know, none of them have successfully advanced through both chambers of Congress to become law. So this is definitely a fight that I'm going to stick in there with and invest a lot of time in.
Okay. We have about a minute and a half, really quick, because I want you to share with our audience where they can follow you. Big Pharma, Josh Hawley says Americans are last on the list for Big Pharma and there's price gouging going on. What would you do in Congress to address that?
As far as the Big Pharma goes, we have to get them in under control. They have took off and they're basically in charge of what we can do as nurses, what the doctors can do with their patients. This is absolutely absurd, David. And so this is something that definitely is going to require a lot of attention from we have like 3 nurses, I believe, up there in Congress. If we can all band together, and even the others, we can get stuff done. Quite frankly, America is tired of Congress not doing their jobs. And I'm a fighter. I don't know if I come across that way or not, but I'm a fighter and I stand up for my people. And if you want to come to NikkiLeeCongress.com, it's NIKILEE Congress.com. You can read a little bit about me. I've got a lot of things actually on there about me, or you can go to Nikki Lee Congress, Nikki Lee Ethington for Congress on my social media page.
Okay, so you have a primary probably. And there might be other entrants into that race. I know one other that was thinking about it. And when is that primary?
So our primary is May the 19th. And, that's not very far away. It's very important. This is another thing. People need to get out and vote because I think it was in 2024 when we last had our primary, Thomas Massey received only like 39,900 something votes in that primary. That means like 13% of the voters turned out. The other 2 candidates had a total of like 12,000 between them. So the grand total was 52,409 votes cast in that primary. Now, David, we have 312,000 registered Republicans.
Wow.
So that the math is there. 87% didn't vote. So we have to get out and vote.
100%, everybody. I want to thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, Nikki Lee Ethington running in the 4th Congressional District of Kentucky. Primaries next year. You got a lot of work to do, and we'll follow you closely. Thank you so much, Nikki.
Perfect. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome, everybody. We'll be right back. I got the head of the Georgia Republicans state chair.
Did you know that somebody could literally steal your house? Yeah, that is a thing that happens. It is when a criminal forges your signature on one document, uses one fake notary stamp, they then take out loans using your home equity, and the worst part of it is, you don't even know it's happening until you start getting collections and foreclosure notices. This right here is why you need to use Home Title Lock.
Find out if you're already a victim. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. There's a concerted effort to intimidate and censor conservative thinkers. The very freedoms secured by our Constitution are being threatened by the most liberal progressives America has ever seen. It seems like everything they do is to the detriment of our great nation. But there are plenty of patriots with the courage to stand up to the left. Join AMAC. AMAC is a voice for conservatives that cannot be ignored. Stand with over 2 million America-loving patriots by joining AMAC today.
I'm Richard Karn, and I love my hose. My hose is lightweight. Oh, no. My hose will not kink. Come on. And my hose is anti-leak. It ain't those old hoses. This is my hose. The new Pocket Hose Copper Bullet, now infused with real copper, so your water is always clean and lead-free. Just turn on the water and watch your hose grow and grow to a full-size 3/4-inch hose. It stretches and expands like a rubber band. And when you turn off the water, away it goes, shrinking and squeezing that water out until it's practically bone dry. And that makes it easy to carry and put away. Our new inner tube uses 3 layers of high-strength latex on the inside. Then it's wrapped in a new polymer filament jacket, similar to the technology used in forest fire hoses because it's light and tough. 3 times stronger than the other hoses. It's guaranteed for 10 years. Nearly impossible to tear or snag. And the redesigned connector protector helps stop leaks at the spigot. But my favorite part of our new hose build? The oversized, easy-to-grip fittings. Easy on and off, even with gloves. With more than 100 patents worldwide, it's the best pocket hose in the world. Get the super light 25-foot Pocket Hose Copper Bullet today for only $29.99. But wait, call now and get our copper spray nozzle with our exclusive thumb drive free. Simply use your thumb to turn off and on. And with 10 unique patterns, you'll have a setting for every job. It's a $30 value, yours free with every 50-foot copper bullet. But it's not available in stores. This is an exclusive release of our newest pocket hose. There is a strict limit of 3 per order, so don't wait. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-448-0876 or visit copperbullethose.com. So call 1-800-448-0876 or visit copperbullethose.com. Order now.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Breaking Point on Real America's Voice News. There's a lot going on across the country. There's a lot of races that are going to heat up really fast. And one of them is the Georgia Senate race with Brian Kemp deciding not to run. A lot of potential candidates out there. And I just want to talk about what's going on in Georgia in general. I want to welcome to the show the Georgia Republican Party chairman, Josh McCoon. Thank you so much for joining us, Josh.
For having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know you're on the road. You're joining us via audio today. And I wanted to get your take on what's going on. I know you helped deliver a Trump victory in Georgia with the Republican Party. Trump won by 2 points this time. And my own feelings about what happened, in 2020, but there's a lot going on. I feel like there's a little bit more maybe unity going on in Georgia. Are they going to get behind a senatorial candidate soon?
Well, there was an article today indicating that Governor Kemp and President Trump are talking and trying to work together to find a consensus candidate. Obviously, we don't want a really crowded primary with blood on the floor and everything else. John Ossoff's already raised $11 million in the first quarter, and we know that's going to be a tough road. We feel like we can win. We feel like Georgia's the best chance to put an America First conservative in place of a Democrat. But we do need to come together, and I thought that was a good sign that Governor Kemp and President Trump are communicating about this.
Yeah. I know the Democrats poured a ton of money into TV ads, in the senatorial races and the president's race. And, I wanted to talk about some of the prospects out there. I spent a lot of time on the campaign trail with surrogates for Trump across the country. And one of them was MTG. He was a real fighter for Trump on the road. Another was Mike Collins, and really, was out there for Donald Trump. What about other candidates also? Like there's Reagan Box, who says she wants to run. Rich McCormick, congressman, right? And Buddy Carter. Can you tell us some of the differences between the candidates?
Sure. Obviously, you've got Buddy Carter there in Savannah, who announced today. And Congressman Carter, I actually served with him in the state legislature. He is from Pooler, Georgia, on the southeastern part of the state. He is got the ability to self-fund, which obviously is a big plus. He does have to get known outside of his congressional district, and so he'll need to spend money to get his name ID up. Obviously positioning himself as a MAGA warrior in the ad that ran today, announcing his candidacy. Of course, I'm sure your audience is familiar with Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's weighing her options, may get in, may stay where she is, but very well loved by Georgia Republicans all over the state, and would be a daunting candidate in the primary to face off with. And then you mentioned Congressman McCormick, who obviously is another potential contender. Our insurance commissioner, John King, had said he would run if the governor did not run, and that may be a candidate that Governor Kemp gets behind. Governor Kemp appointed John King insurance commissioner a couple of years ago, so I would not discount his potential staying power in the race. And Congressman Mike Collins, of course, I was with Congressman Collins Saturday. He held an event in his home district, but there were people from around the state, over 500 people packing out a facility there in Covington, Georgia, and it definitely looked and felt like a rally for someone who's looking to run for higher office. So lots of contenders, lots to sort out here in the coming weeks.
Okay. What is the date of, and when is critical mass reached where a decision's got to get made, and you think there'll be a primary?
Well, obviously, we have qualifying in Georgia will take place next March. But I think that, this winnowing and trying to, get everybody sort of behind a single candidate or maybe a smaller primary field, I think that's all got to play out in the next couple of months. I mean, I think it's going to happen pretty quickly. We'll either see lots of candidates emerge and this becomes a really big field, or President Trump and Governor Kemp are successful and we see either a single candidate or maybe one or two that are contending for it. Because, of course, here in Georgia, we have a runoff rule, and you have to get 50% of the vote to be the nominee. So you have three or more candidates. The likelihood is this thing drags into July before we have a nominee, and that obviously is not good for us. We need as much time as possible to topple John Ossoff.
Sure. Well, it's an exciting time down there, and Trump and Kemp, some unity there. Probably will work together to get the best candidate.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's certainly the reporting today. One of the things I'm very proud of my time as chairman is the way we were able to really bring everybody together in the closing weeks of the presidential campaign. And it's great to see that working relationship between Governor Kemp and President Trump continue. So I'm hopeful that we will see a single candidate emerge or a smaller field emerge as the governor and President Trump work on that.
Right. So is Raffensperger running again for Secretary of State?
So I'm glad you mentioned him. I can't believe I left him out of that discussion. Secretary of State Raffensperger is somebody that absolutely would be looking at the Senate race as well. And he, of course, was able to self-fund his initial run for Secretary of State in 2018. Very wealthy, got a lot of resources he can draw on. So he's someone that could wind up being a candidate in either the governor's race or the Senate race. So that's another one to watch.
I think a lot of the MAGA contingent is still very upset, about what transpired in that realm. But, also in Georgia, you could win the primary and you could also lose statewide, though, right? So that's always a challenge because these races are really close, aren't they?
Yeah, there's definitely a balance to be struck. I'm a conservative. I want to see a conservative, an America First conservative nominee, obviously. But yes, Georgia's a competitive state. I like to tell people we're a center-right state, but we're not Alabama. And so, we've got to have a candidate that can really appeal and get our voters out. I mean, that was what was so great about President Trump is a lot of people that sat on the sofa in some prior elections got up and went to vote. And we broke a lot of voter turnout records in key Republican strongholds in the state. And so we've got to have somebody that can inspire that same level of confidence. So I believe that's going to happen. I believe we will defeat Senator Ossoff, but it's going to take a special candidate to do it.
Yeah, I think the movie industry, Atlanta will benefit. A lot of movies were made in Atlanta because it's cheaper than Hollywood, and there's people fleeing it. And then, with these prospective tariffs for foreign filming that Trump will put into place, maybe you'll get more. One last question, quick. We have about a minute. Has the demographic changed in Georgia? Because New York has lost $1 trillion in wealth between Florida and Texas. And has Georgia benefited similarly? And is the demographic changing? And could you gain a Republican seat?
Look, we have a chance, I think, in the southwestern part of our state, 2nd Congressional District. Sanford Bishop's been the congressman for 34 years. I believe that's an opportunity for us to pick up. And, I'm running for another term as chairman of the party. If I'm reelected, that's going to be a real area of focus for me, is to try to see if we can knock off Sanford Bishop and move our congressional count from 9 to 10.
Wow. All right. Well, very insightful. I appreciate you coming on and taking the time out. And where can our viewers follow the Georgia Republican Party?
So we're certainly on Facebook at Georgia Republican Party. You can also find us on X at GA Republicans. And then we're also on the web at gagop.org.
All right. Thank you again for joining us. And we're going to follow what's going on closely. Our viewers are really in tune. So thank you for all of the information.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Josh, and happy Mother's Day to you and your family. And everybody, we'll be back with more. And again, happy Mother's Day to everyone in our audience there. We love our moms, and give your mom a hug. And we'll be right back, and do not go anywhere. You're watching Breaking Point on Real America's Voice News. We always love seeing Maria from Switch to USA. How are you?
I am doing very well. I am so pumped that we are here in Long Island. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. And I see you everywhere. I saw you in Schnecksville, Pennsylvania, Wildwood, New Jersey. Is there anywhere you don't go?
There is nowhere we don't go. Absolutely.
You've been a supporter of Real America's Voice, Breaking Point, for some time now. Tell us about Switch to USA.
Well, Switch to USA is the mom and pop American manufacturer, and we are the parallel economy for all of your essentials. And you never know when you might need another supply chain, wink, wink. So
all made on American soil by American factory workers?
Amen to that. We have to rebuild our economy, and we are doing it.
Where can our viewers find you?
Please come to switch2USA.com.
Switch2USA.com. We love Maria. So great to see you.
Thank you so much, David. We love you too. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
We all want to make a difference in our country and make change, but we don't all have the ability to do so. A lot of people are busy. They can't join school boards. They can't get on borough council, but they can change where they shop. And it's just shopping. It's that simple.
We're going to link arms and we're going to shop right here at this American factory. They make the products and they're all natural and they're good for us and they're affordable. Everything's made here in the USA.
I'm proud to endorse and encourage you to get this Bible.
Now available in 4 stunning editions: the First Lady Edition, Inauguration Edition, Vice Presidential Edition, and Presidential Edition.
This Bible is the King James Version and also includes our Founding Father documents, yes, the Constitution, Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance. God bless you. and God bless the USA.
Scan the QR code on screen now to get your special edition Bible at GodBlessTheUSABible.com.
Stay tuned to get a free automatic toilet bowl cleaner from Mermaid. Your sink stopper's broken, but fixing a drain is such a pain. Not anymore. Introducing Mermaid Drain Magic, the instant solution to most broken drains. Simply remove and replace. In just seconds, you can fill and drain with a simple press of a button. Drain Magic makes replacing your old, broken, rusty, even missing sink stoppers fast and easy.
Practically took me 5 seconds to replace. It absolutely made my sink look like brand new.
Honestly, I couldn't believe it. How could it work so well, look so good, and install so quickly?
And forget clogging, because Drain Magic's anti-clogging basket helps catch debris before it goes down the drain. When the basket's full, just discard. Helps prevent clogs in your sink by catching hair, food, even jewelry. Drain Magic uses a silicone gasket that creates a watertight seal without messy plumber's putty. Look, this sink was filled hours ago and the water still remains. Press the spring-loaded stopper and the water's gone. Made of brass and finished in high-quality chrome, Drain Magic is rust-resistant and built to last.
It's made out of metal, not plastic, and it actually has some weight to it. Yeah, this is the real deal.
Just looks like a new sink now.
Order your 2-in-1 drain solution, Mermaid Drain Magic, today for only $19.99. And with every order, you're going to get a Mermaid automatic toilet bowl cleaner absolutely free. Just drop it in the tank for up to 3 months of hands-free cleaning. Mermaid's ultra-concentrated formula cleans and deodorizes with every flush. But wait, due to rising costs, this may be your last chance to get Mermaid Drain Magic at this incredibly low price with free Mermaid toilet bowl cleaner. There's a strict limit of 3. Call or click now to order.
Call 1-800-519-3206 or visit GetDrainMagic.com. So call 1-800-519-3206 or visit GetDrainMagic.com. Order now.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing? If you've written a book, Page can help you through the process. We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, we get you printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and bookstores. We'll even promote your book.
Call 1-800-319-0257. That's 1-800-319-0257.
Hello, I'm David Zere. Welcome back. You're watching Breaking Point on Real America's Voice News. I have a great guest with us right now because if you turn your head for a minute, you miss the news cycle. It's so extraordinary what's going on. I have former CIA author, senior editor of At End Magazine, Sam Faddis. Welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. Everybody loves you on the War Room, and it's really relevant, I think, that you're here today because I have a couple of topics. Not everybody's really getting into it and talking about it. And my first concern out there is, you know, with the Iranian-backed Houthis in the Red Sea, firing on shipping, hitting Ben Gurion Airport last week, which was a big conflagration, in my opinion. You know, the Harry S. Truman and the carrier group that's associated with it's come under fire. They've lost 3 Hornets since December. And there's a number of reasons for those. There was a missile that came within a mile of the Harry S. Truman, and the close-in weapons system, the failings, took it out. Isn't that a little too close for comfort?
Yeah, it's way too close for comfort. It's when you're down to the part where you're shooting the phalanx with its depleted uranium rounds to take down a missile. I mean, obviously, I'm laughing not because it's funny, but because, yeah, that would absolutely get your attention, and 100% should never happen.
Right. So there's like 40 ships in these carrier groups, I believe, and you know, you have like E-2C Hawkeyes, you've got combat air patrols, you've got all kinds of stuff. But what happens, like the Soviets theory and like, you know, in Red Storm Rising, Tom Clancy, what if you had 25 kitchen bombs coming at your fleet at once? How do you stop it, right, from a Tu-26 backfire bomber or other? But now, what if they have 15 cruise missiles at a time? Are we vulnerable? And tell us, is what's going on with the Truman losing $200 million in fighter jets almost since December, one falling off, the arresting gear wasn't working, couldn't land, everyone ejected safely, and then the USS Gettysburg shoots down one in December and the pilots ejected and were safe. Is this a matter of readiness? Is this a result of Biden, or is this just a really complicated theater of operations?
Yeah, well, look, let me say up front, I was in the military before I was in the agency. My dad was a career naval officer. My brother's a retired Army colonel. My son served in Afghanistan. I've been around the military all my life. There's no such thing as this sort of space age video game antiseptic way to fight a war. Things go wrong. You're never 100% safe. So the idea that we can just operate with impunity and we're never going to take a hit, never going to take a loss, folks need to get past that. Having said that, do I think we have a readiness issue? 100% we have a readiness issue. We have brought the United States Navy down to a ridiculously low number of ships. You're sending the same vessels out over and over. You're sending the same guys out over and over. One ship comes back and they're pulling guys off those ships and sending them straight back out to sea. And you're using the same equipment over and over and over. You don't have the best military in the world just because you say you do. You have it because of attention to detail, resources, all the not sexy stuff, but that actually makes it happen. And under Biden, we disregarded all of that, right? So, yeah, we are vulnerable. Wow. We have problems.
Wow. That's a scary thought. Hopefully we get back on track, because I know it was a priority for Trump in his first term. Gaza, the pier construction, bad weather led to injuries, 60 or so injuries, a death. I don't know if it was of a service person, but and cost overruns. This pier was a bad idea to begin with off of Gaza, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a terrible idea. First of all, there was no necessity to ever build a pier. Gaza has an extensive land border with Israel. You can fly everything in or bring everything in normal commercial ports to Israel and truck it across the border into Gaza. So let's start with this. It was a PR stunt. But they disregarded the people, the Biden administration disregarded all relevant considerations. That said, this is another example of, look, we're building a pier to bring stuff across a beach in peacetime with no hostile force interdicting us, and we can't do it anymore. And that's not because our guys are lazy. That's because the resources have been cut. The training's been cut. In this case, they had Navy and Army people on the beach trying to use different types of equipment that they knew didn't physically fit together, and they were trying to build this thing. Again, peacetime on a beach, bad sign.
Bad policy compounded by, again, maybe a readiness issue and other training. Right. All right, let's talk about Cuba. China spying from at least 4 sites in Cuba. Does this new satellite photographs released, does this threaten U.S. military installations like Pensacola, Tyndall, MacDill, the Southern Command, the Naval Air Station in Key West, the Kings Bay submarine base, Cape Canaveral? What's going on?
Yeah, well, the Chinese have been there for a long time, and they've been spying on us for a long time. So are they upgrading their capabilities? Yeah, but honestly, while the press is paying attention to it, this is not anything we didn't know. The bigger issue is if the Chinese are there and they can set up these signals intercept things and listen to our communications, or try to listen to our communications, they could also do other stuff from Cuba. They could also put missiles in Cuba. They could put all kinds of forces in Cuba. So there's a much broader potential threat here that we ought to really be worried about.
China is giving Cuba like $369 million. I think they gave them already. There's reports that China is helping the Cuban government censor the internet, putting Huawei equipment in there, so the citizens remain, on free. How how big is the involvement with China there now? And we know, Russia, the Soviet Union, up until 1991 had like 1,500 probably spies or so in Cuba. Is this the future? Is this does the Monroe Doctrine apply here?
Monroe Doctrine should apply. Obviously, another thing that Joe Biden decided he didn't care about, that we're just going to let hostile powers come in the Western Hemisphere. The Chinese are in Cuba. You know what? The Chinese also have the largest embassy in the world in the Bahamas. And they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of intelligence officers in the Bahamas. Now, I can guarantee you they're not there to collect on the very sexy target of the Bahamas. They're there because of the proximity to the United States and the fact that you can get back and forth very quickly. So they are there in the Bahamas to spy on us and to run American assets. That's been going on for a long time, too. We haven't done anything about it.
Yeah, Bahamas closer than Cuba, right, to the United States. Okay.
Well, and you have a huge amount of travel back and forth. So that means spies can vanish into that crowd moving back and forth.
Interesting. So many things going on, and I don't want to maybe make too much of India and Pakistan, but maybe this escalates, but probably not. The situation: Indian tourists getting killed by terrorists, Pakistan getting missile strikes from India, and then I heard the Prime Minister of Pakistan saying they shot down 5 Indian jets. I don't know if that's true. And what's the latest?
Well, up front, I don't know that that's true either. And if I had to bet money on it, I'd say it ain't true. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that the Pakistanis say all the time. And it's not worth anything. I think the Indian response was measured. They had to hit back, and they did. And now they've given the Pakistanis a chance to climb down the ladder, and let's move ahead and not let this spiral out of control. Am I hopeful that will happen? I'm cautiously optimistic. But look, this is India and Pakistan. This is centuries of animosity between Muslims and Hindus. So at any moment that the chance it, goes high and right and spirals out of control, always there. Let's hope that the cooler heads are in control.
I just wanted to add one thing. I remember growing up and watching, I don't know if it was Bhutto or was it Zia? The ISI was an ally, the Pakistani intelligence of the United States. Do we still have the allies there, and are they really rooting out the Islamic terrorists?
Do we work with the ISI? Yes. Is the ISI sometimes cooperating with us and sometimes smiling in your face and then turning around and doing the exact opposite of what they claimed they were going to do? Yeah, sure. Back in the day, you'd go to raid a safe house in Pakistan, and before you could get there, the ISI would have made a phone call and warned the guys you were going to grab. So it's always a double game. It's never simple.
Well, I really appreciate your insight. I'd love to have you back on. And can you tell our viewers where can they follow you, and tell us about End Magazine?
Best place to find me is to go to End Magazine, which is a magazine that my wife and I run together. She's also a retired CIA officer. andmagazine.substack.com, and then we're everywhere on the net, but that'll take you there.
All right, Sam Faddis, everybody. I want to thank you so much for joining us, and again, it's great stuff. And have a wonderful weekend. Happy Mother's Day to your mother or your family.
Thank you. You too.
All right, Sam. Everybody, I want to thank everybody. And again, happy Mother's Day to everyone's family out there, to all the wonderful mothers out there. Even if they're not wonderful, still got to celebrate Mommy's Day. I want to thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. And thank you for joining us. Everyone in the RAV audience means a lot. I'll see you soon.
The FBI calls it house stealing, the latest scam where a cyber thief transfers the title of your home out of your name and steals your hard-earned equity.
it's roughly 60 to 90 days for that person to even figure out that they're the victim of this crime. You start getting foreclosure notices, and you realize you've got 4 mortgages on your house that you didn't even know existed.
Unfortunately, it's on you to protect yourself. You might already be a victim. Check your title status now at HomeTitleLock.com.
Your wallet is always in danger. Criminals can scan and hack your information without you even knowing. Worse yet, it's bulky and so disorganized. But not anymore, because Slim is in. Introducing Slim Mint, an ultra-thin RFID blocking wallet that keeps your cards and cash truly protected. And now may be your last chance to get it for a low price. Slim Mint uses the latest RFID blocking technology to prevent thieves from scanning your wallet and stealing your info.
Having your information stolen is a nightmare, but with Slim Mint, I know I'm protected.
With money clips, cash can easily fall out, but with the auto-locking Slim Mint, your cards and money stay securely in place. Then just press the button to release the lock. Slim Mint is ergonomically designed to optimize space and keep your belongings organized. It has a built-in cash clip and a flexible outer band to securely fit your additional cards and your extra cash. Even with everything you see here in the Slim Mint, it's still ultra